Thank you to our citizens and to the public for trusting the Memphis Police Department and utilizing our Crime Stoppers Anonymous tip line. This is an ongoing investigation. Thank you very much. And at this particular time, I'd like to.
When the Two Rivers Violent Fugitive Task Force, somebody's it is. Okay. When the Two Rivers Violent Fugitive Task Force was asked to participate in this fugitive investigation, we since that time we've logged hundreds and hundreds of hours into trying to apprehend Justin Johnson, even before the reward announcement. And once the reward announcement was made, we received over 500 tips, and we went through that process of vetting those tips and reaching out to our partners across the Southeast to help us check addresses. And I'll just tell you a few of the places that we checked. We went to Indianapolis, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, and Hampton, Virginia, checking different addresses, following up on tips. We were very diligent in what we did. And yesterday, with the assistance of our headquarters Investigative Operations Division, headquartered at Marshall's headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, we got a tip that Justin Johnson was traveling on Highway 42 in Indiana. So we contacted the Great Lakes, U.S. Marshals Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force and asked for their assistance. And so through a coordinated effort, they were able to stop a vehicle as it pulled into a truck stop in Brazil, Indiana, just outside of Terre Haute. And Justin Johnson was safely taken to custody. And I just want to also give credit to the Indiana State Police, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, and the Terre Haute, Indiana Police Department for their assistance. Once he was taken into custody, we also identified a second person that was in the vehicle with him. It's a man that goes by the name of Shondale. I'll spell his name Shondale, Barnett, Barnett. Shondale Barnett. Date of birth is February 6, 1994. He's originally from Memphis, but lives in Dallas. Shondale Barnett is a person who we believe was providing assistance to Justin since we've been looking for him. He now faces charges of accessory after the fact to first-degree murder. He's being housed at the Clay County, Indiana jail, and he will face, there was a state warrant that the marshals filed on him. And so he will face go through the extradition process of being extradited back here to Shelby County. Now, Justin Johnson, on the other hand, he was transported to the Knox County, Indiana jail. And he was booked on a violation of federal supervised release. He went before a federal magistrate in the Southern District of Indiana this morning at 11:30. He waived his identity hearing and he waived his bond hearing. So in essence, he has agreed to come back to face the federal supervised release charges in the Western District of Tennessee. He will go before a judge in this building, go before a federal magistrate and have an initial appearance on that charge. I can't give you a timeline for safety purposes, but just know that when he's ready to be transported, the marshals will be bringing him back here to this building to face those charges. I want to thank Chief Davis for the confidence that she has in our office. Whenever their investigators, they do a tremendous job. MPD is just, you won't find a better agency when it comes to investigating crime. But when they get a warrant, I just appreciate the confidence they have in us. They'll call the marshals because they know that they're going to get results. I also want to thank our partner agencies on our task force. Chief Davis provides task force officers on our task force, as well as Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner, Fayette County Sheriff Bobby Rouse, and the Tennessee Department of Correction. We have a great working relationship and a great partnership, and I just want you all to know that we do what we can to keep this community safe and apprehend violent fugitives on the run. I also want to thank General Wyrick. She's committed to prosecuting violent offenders in our community, and that's refreshing. Whenever we call, we need something from General Wyrick, she's always there, just a phone call away, and I just appreciate her. Also want to thank, as I said before, there's some guys on our task force that they have ate, slept, and drank Justin Johnson ever since this happened. I mean, I have to tell you, those guys took it a little bit personal, and you definitely could see that. I mean, they fielded calls all night long. They would come in, no sleep, eyes red, red from lack of sleep, not red from anything else. And I just thought I would clarify that. Just want to tell you that, you won't find a more committed group of guys, and it's that way throughout the Marshal Service. We pride ourselves on our work. That star been shining bright since 1789, and it's shining bright today. We do what we do, and we do it for the safety of our community. I'm going to step away, and next you'll hear from Chief Davis, and I think at the conclusion we'll answer what we're able to. Thank you. Steve.
Good afternoon. So what I'll do is provide just a bit of a summary of the MPD's work towards this particular case and the apprehension of these two wanted individuals. So on Wednesday, November 17, 2021, at approximately 12:24 p.m., Memphis police officers responded to a shooting at 2370 Airways Boulevard, Makeda's Homemade Cookies. Upon arrival, officers located 36-year-old Adolph Thornton Jr., known as Young Dolph, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Thornton was pronounced deceased on the scene by Memphis Fire Department personnel. After an exhaustive investigation by MPD staff, investigators, and supervisors, many who are in this room right now, 23-year-old Justin Johnson and 32-year-old Cornelius Smith were apprehended. Justin Johnson, who is a wanted person of interest in the murder of Young Dolph, Adolph Thornton, is now in custody, thanks to the Marshal Service and their dogged, relentless, and unwavering commitment to getting this individual off the street. Cornelius Smith is now in custody as well, pending the following charges: first-degree murder, criminal attempt to first-degree murder, convicted felon in possession of a handgun, employing a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, and theft of property in the amount of $10,000 to $60,000. These arrests would not have been possible without the dedicated men and women of the Memphis Police Department and our partners, specifically our homicide unit. Last year, these investigators handled more than 300 homicide cases. They work day in and day out trying to identify individuals with the same type of aggression and unwavering, intrepid spirit that was involved in this particular case. And without the assistance of our partners, and this is a short list of individuals or groups that we need to identify. To our citizens and to the public for trusting the Memphis Police Department and utilizing our Crime Stoppers Anonymous tip line. This is an ongoing investigation. Thank you very much. And at this particular time, I'd like to ask our District Attorney General, Amy Wyrick, for remarks.
Good afternoon. as you have heard, the list of people and the energy involved and the work dedicated to apprehending these two individuals has been limitless. This case will be handled in the district attorney's office by 3 of our ADAs, Paul Hagerman, Austin Schofield, and Joey Griffith, who are assigned to our crime strategies and narcotics prosecution unit. Because of the criminal histories involved in the individuals charged, the case will be assigned to our Special Prosecution Unit Division 7, which handles, as you all know, repeat violent felony offenders. You've heard us thank, and it has to be said again, the hard work of the men and women standing behind me and the agencies that they represent, and the sleepless nights and the countless hours that they have dedicated to this case that we're here talking about, but all of the others that they are working on and doing the same in terms of bringing someone to justice so that victims of these crimes can have closure and so that we as a community can have that closure as well. I wanted to take just a minute and clarify a few things regarding the criminal history of Justin Johnson. So you've heard that Cornelius Smith was indicted by the Shelby County Grand Jury yesterday. You've heard the charges that he was indicted on. As for Justin Johnson, in July of 2015, at the age of 17, he was charged with aggravated rape and aggravated robbery at the gunpoint. The victim in that case was a woman at an Econo Lodge. He was found delinquent. He was placed in the custody of the Department of Children's Services until his 19th birthday. Our office filed a transfer request in that case that was denied, and he was placed on the Violent Juvenile Sex Offender Registry. In January of 2017, January 31st to be specific,
what's wrong with you?
He shot 3 people at the Dilly Hardwood Bowling Alley, and many of you all have covered that case. In February of 2017, he was arrested on that case after MPD solved it. In May of 2017, he pled guilty to 5 years concurrent for the shooting in the Billy Hardwood case. In November of 2017, he asked a criminal court judge to be released from that sentence, and the judge granted that request. That was 9 months of time on a 5-year sentence. In May of 2018, he was arrested with a handgun and illegal drugs. The next day, he posted a $7,500 bond. A week later, he was arrested for violating the conditions of his probation with the new gun and the new drug case. 3 days later, he posted a $15,000 bond on that violation of probation. He was indicted by the federal government in July of 2018 as part of a weekly and quite literally daily communication between our office and the U.S. Attorney's Office on all gun cases. You guys have covered stories over the years of Project Safe Neighborhoods. And this indictment in this case was the work of that joint effort of federal, state, and local law enforcement coming together literally every week to review every gun arrest. And this case was indicted by the feds, as I mentioned, in July of 2018. His state bond was revoked in February of 2019. That same month, the state judge ordered that his sentence in the state court be run consecutive to any sentence that he may receive in the federal system. And in May of 2021, he had done his time in the federal system and was released from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. As for Cornelius Smith, he has a prior, from 2011, a criminal attempt aggravated robbery and an aggravated assault for which he received a 3-year sentence. So I hope that helps clarify. Our office has fielded a lot of questions, and perhaps others of you in the room have as well, about why Justin Johnson was out of custody. I hope this tells you why. And the short answer is because of the laws of the state of Tennessee, and because of the criminal justice system that we operate in every day. Again, he did 9 months on a 5-year sentence. He was entitled to ask the judge to be released, and that request was granted. And he was on probation for those state charges, and that's when he picked up the federal cases as well. So with that, I think we will open it up to questions. I'll turn it back over to Marshall Miller, but again, just want to say thank you.
Only the investigative agency into the shooting of Young Dolph was handled by the Memphis Police Department, so any questions about their investigation will have to be addressed with them.
Chief, I got a question for you. Chief, can you answer that question? Chief, can you answer that?
At this particular time, we can't get into the details just yet because we're still pending indictments. And the specifics, we had enough probable cause to actually put out this wanted flyer for Justin Johnson. And we have enough information to ensure that he will see his day in court. But right now, we can't provide the specifics about it because it's still pending that indictment.
Do you have a theory on motive?
Not just yet. There has been just a wealth of tips and information and leads and putting this case together. And our officers and investigators have been working since this particular case began. Lots of rumors and innuendo, but we're really trying to sift through to the truth and what the real motives are. We're just not ready to put that out there right now.
To your knowledge, are these two suspects the two people caught in the video outside of Makeda?
We can't say 100%, but we have enough information to have pushed this particular case to the point that it is now and pursue this in a court of law. There was enough evidence, enough material evidence, enough support and witnesses to be able to get this case to this point without me jeopardizing an indictment and information that will come out in the grand jury. That's about all I can say. And because of the fact that I'm not the investigator, and I don't want to put them in a position where they're revealing too much as well. Yeah. It is very possible. It is very possible. Once we, continue to conduct this investigation, there's no telling where it could potentially lead. There could be other individuals that are implicated in this particular homicide. Yes. We are all working together. That's why I outlined all of those different agencies, because at some point in time in this investigation, our investigators have had touch points with various other individuals, other law enforcement personnel around the country. So absolutely. Thank you. It's been fast moving from the very beginning. It's just that when we have investigations that are as high profile as this, the police department is very careful about how much information we provide, to the general public so that we don't compromise the investigation. But from day one, there were leads, and these investigators have been on the trail of individuals that we assume were involved in this. And of course, that information was more robust in the last months. Not that I know of. I don't think I can answer that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know that just yet. Do we know why? They've been all over the place. And I would assume that they were fleeing justice,
Well, as I stated earlier, there were several cities that have been searched, from Atlanta to Indianapolis, Houston, Dallas. So Justin Johnson has been very active since he's been on the run, and even more so after the reward announcement. So he never really stayed in one place very long.
I can say that our staff has been very sensitive to the family to ensure that the family is aware of various iterations in this particular case. As far as reactions, I'd be uncomfortable to say what their reactions are. I would think that they're probably relieved at this point, though. Yes. Yes. Well, it really really speaks to the work that these guys and gals do every day. And they really do. When we have the participation of other agencies and partnerships that we've been talking about, and we also have that very critical input from the community. And as it was said, we vetted hundreds and hundreds of leads. When we get that information, we can bring cases to closure much faster. There was an awful lot of information coming into the Memphis Police Department, and we appreciate the public's trust in us to keep their information confidential so that we can bring those individuals to justice. So not just with this case, we're hoping that we continue to see that level of engagement in providing information when we have these types of cases, especially cases of violent crime. You know, at this point, I don't think so. We don't have any information, and my staff is here, but I think I would have been made aware of any case that we thought was connected to this particular tragedy. So at this point, we don't think that there was any other individuals that were affected, you know, negatively like that. Any person that might be associated with a specific crime is a person of interest. I'm not sure at what point or what level Mr. Owens is involved in this. We're still investigating, and as we mentioned before, this may have a rippling effect. There may be more involvement and more charges in the days to come as it relates to this.
We're gonna take one more question.
Marshall, I have a question. Was Justin Johnson alone in the car, or was he with someone else, and did he resist arrest?
No, he was the driver. His passenger was Shondale Barnett, and he's going to be facing charges of accessory after the fact. And my office will get you a photo out today of Shondale Barnett. But he was taken into custody without incident. So
Was that another stolen car, or did you know?
the car was not stolen.
It was not stolen.
Okay. Yes.
Did it belong to them, or did they get this car?
Well, I can't. That could be part of Memphis' ongoing investigation about the car, and so I don't want to get too much. Don't want to provide too many details about that. He'll be back here promptly. I don't want to give a definitive time because again, that could be a safety concern for the marshals who have to bring him back here. As I understand, there's a lot of interest in it, and we just want to get him back safely, so he can, the wheels of justice can turn.